educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
I thank y'all very much for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast. Man, we're going to have fun on this episode. But also, this gentleman right here that I'm going to interview probably has the shortest bio I've ever seen. But it is probably the most impactful. And I thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope that this show will be just that. He teaches visionary entrepreneurs how to unlock sustainable revenue growth and expand their legacy by becoming a power brand in their market. As you all well know, 96% of businesses fail within the first 10 years, and he teaches businesses not only how to avoid failure, but how to win by becoming a true leader in their market. Again, I told y'all the shortest bio I've ever had to read, but the impact that it has, because sometimes shorter is better, y'all. You know, there's no fluff in this, and I appreciate this from this gentleman here. I bring none other to you than Jackson. Jackson, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, absolutely, Maurice. I thought you were going to say I have the shortest hair you've ever seen. You're going for a joke right away.
No. I mean, there's been some people that's just a little shorter. I mean, a lot shorter.
It's an honor to be here, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So, as I stated in your bio, you help entrepreneurs. But to me, there's a key word that you touch on that I think gets lost in the sauce, which is visionary, right? So, first of all, let's define what is a visionary.
I love it. I'm going to be bold right away. You listening, you are all visionaries. You know, you might be stuck with the vision of the field outside your window, right? You may be stuck staring at an app trying to escape the present. But you also may be stuck in the future looking at flying cars, right? There's all sorts of, we all have the capacity. And if we can build friendships that will support us when we're pursuing good things and doing good things, then we can really step into the element of being the visionary for our purpose. But when we have people around us who tear that, oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, you'll never be good at that. No, you won't. Like, we've got to find people who will help us bring our best self out without fear. And when you do that, man, you can create some amazing things in your life and you can love it.
So as a visionary, what is that? You know, is that when I dream at night? Is that when I'm just walking down the street and all of a sudden, like, and I'm sorry, this is just a kid raising kids, right? When you look at Totally Raven, right, and she just walking around and all of a sudden she has this big vision that pop up, you know, just out of clear nowhere. You know, is that considered a visionary? You know, what is it really like at its crux? What is that?
Dude, it's really, I don't want to be too broad, but it's kind of all of the above on that. Like you can get that in lots of ways. And here's where, if you have a moment like that, take a deep breath, right? And feel in your heart and your mind or your gut. If you're a man, you're going to say gut, you're going to say heart. Right? I guess the masculine, feminine stuff.
Right.
The heart and the mind, right? If it's logical and you can feel connected to it as well, that is one heck of a superpower. That's saying like that might be something you should pursue. Now I can tell you, a lot of people are misguided on their visions, and I can tell you that because I see a vape shop on almost every corner these days.
Yeah, you do. Right.
What the heck, man? Like hey, you just get inspired because you saw another vape shop and you were like, well, I should open one too. That's not vision, that's copycat. Right. So your vision and what you want to do. I mean, I got a program, it's free. It's called passionpro.org. If you're like into surveys and assessments and stuff, then I think you'd really, really, really like that. I've had some great people go in there as, again, good people who didn't quite know what they were doing in their life. Some of them, to me, I looked at them and they were like here in life, but they come out of that passions assessment. They said, Jackson, I know what I want to do in my life. Like, I want to launch this business. I want to launch this nonprofit. I want to do this and this. And I'm looking like, I thought you already I just asked you to take this to get your feedback.
Right. Right.
It has some serious powers to learn about your passions, learn
Mm-hmm.
about your strengths, learn about your weaknesses. And again, and then giving your permission to get into an environment where people will support that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be crazy. Don't jump off a cliff without a parachute.
Right.
Right? I didn't say to do that,
Yeah.
but start paying attention to your heart and your mind. It could happen in a conversation like this
Mm-hmm.
where that epiphany hits.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be listening to your heart and your mind. That's hard to do if you're distracted by sports or you're distracted by
Mm.
alcohol or something else like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be really hard to get centered around what truly means so much to you that you got to bring it to others.
So here's the reason why I'm trying to pound this idea, because
Yeah.
we don't always believe in it. We don't understand that it is a vision. You know,
Yes.
like what you're saying, like, you know, if it's something that's within us, we have a passion for it. Sometimes we say, hey, you know what? We're just good at something, but it's not good enough to make money off of it, or
You'll never make money on that. Don't do that.
right. And
Go be a doctor and go be a lawyer instead. That's what they tell you in school, right? Go be a
They
doctor, go be a
do.
lawyer, go be an engineer, right? You'll make a ton of money. Well, ask how many. I mean, what's the suicide rate?
Right.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Mm-hmm.
those people really happy?
Right.
Don't get me wrong. There's doctors who are passionate. There's lawyers who are Thurgood Marshall, man,
Mm-hmm.
amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're getting into it for the money
Right.
or the sense of security,
Right.
you know, nobody goes to a safe house when life's good. When you go to a safe house,
Mm.
you
Right.
go in the
Right.
apocalypse.
Right.
That's
Right.
when you go to a safe house. So if you're looking for safety and security and you're trying to wrap yourself in a blanket, like, no, like you got to tune out some of those negative noises.
Mhm.
I hope if you're surrounded by family and friends that hold you back, I'm so sorry. Like that, like you either got to stick to your safety route, or maybe you got to branch out, be the apple that falls far from the tree.
And there, so those are 2 points right there where you said earlier about being a copycat, social media, right? And then, like you said, now safety being family and school. All that, you know, which are those type of things that robs us of our vision and what our true passion and our true gifts are. It robs us of that, and what our true destination, how we could make the greatest impact in this world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be hard. It can be difficult. I mean, you watch any movie about anybody who is successful,
Mm-hmm.
right? They had to pay for it. Selma,
Right.
you know, Martin Luther King,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, The Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hugh Jackman does a great job of showing the
Yeah.
Ringling Brothers and how they started and how crazy that was.
Right.
You know, I get it. I've been divorced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know the cost that it can be to pursue your dreams and to pursue what you're trying to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know the value of sleeping at peace at night because I'm doing what I know I'm called to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't replace that.
So how are you able to deal with that level of sacrifice to get to that place? Because, you know, and a lot of us sometimes, again, that's safety. You get what I mean? That's a
Yep.
form of safety. So that level of sacrifice, how are you able to deal with that? Because a lot of us are too scared to deal with that word.
The real answer is God. I'm going to throw it right out there first.
Mhm.
That's 100%. It, you know, and in my my first marriage, I mean, I found myself crawled up in fetal position in a closet crying, you know, trying to figure out what was going on. And then, you know, finding God in the process. Well, and the first time I found him, I served a mission too for 2 years in Uruguay.
Okay.
I've spent plenty of time crying on there too. Like, nobody understands me. I don't speak this language. You know, they make fun of us. They tell us that we're the problem in the world and that we're spies from the U.S. government. You know, like there's all sorts of challenges that you go through as a, you know, a minority in that country.
Right.
Right. Who's also an easy target
Right.
because you don't fight back as a missionary. So whether you get spit on, or you get hit with sticks, or you get stood up at gunpoint, or whatever else. There's a lot of stuff that happens on those missions, and you know, you have to take that up with the big man.
Right. Right.
Figure out, why am I doing this? You know,
Right.
what is this really the thing? But I've also learned, and all of us know this: if you want the six pack, do the crunches. Right? If you want to succeed in school, read the books. You know, if you want to, you know, be great at basketball, do the wall squats. Right? All these things burn and they hurt and they're sacrifices. And some of us get really addicted to or like really stuck on certain sacrifices that we love and protect because we condition ourselves for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's other areas of life that are out of our comfort zone.
Right.
Right? Well,
Right.
we had to choose at one point to go out of our comfort zone to learn how to walk,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? To learn how to run, to learn how to do the sports that we like, or the writing and the reading.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can expand ourselves and say, you know what, I don't have to fear the things that are outside of my comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
but I should probably find a community that's also pursuing the same type of activity
Mm-hmm.
because that's where it gets a little bit easier. It's like, okay, well, they're doing it too, right? That's okay. Lean on people. It's not copycat, and not if you're pursuing something that's making you better as a person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just
Mm-hmm.
keep taking steps towards that. If you're better tomorrow than you are today,
Right.
right? Then you can't watch a tree grow.
Right.
You can't
Right.
watch yourself grow either.
Right.
Trust yourself.
So you mentioned about you being on your mission journey, and whatever challenges you might have had encountered being in another country. So we'll just utilize what you had stated about the idea of being at a end of a gun, right? Some type of weapon, whatever it might have been. So sometimes, and I'm gonna relate it to us as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't understand what our mission is and how much greater it is, no matter the moment seems like it's too scared. We're scary. Something's going to derail us. Whatever it is, I think that is a true testament of an entrepreneur. Understand, like, hey, our mission is greater than what we're facing today. Like, our mission, we have to accomplish this because it's the greater good for everyone that we're affecting, not just for this moment. I think that's a great testament. I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I don't take for granted one solid truth that I know a lot of people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I'm going after this life. A lot of people live in fear because of death.
Right.
Right. A lot of people are captivated and are stuck, and they're imprisoned by that idea that, like, well, what if this fails and what if that leads to, right, X, Y, or Z, death, again, broken marriage, other people not liking me, losing my reputation, right? Oh, I don't really fear any of that. I mean, sometimes
Right.
imposter syndrome hits everybody, no matter what Eric Thomas says.
Right.
It's still going to hit everybody in that regard. And even Michael Phelps, when he wants to break the world record, right? Or anybody else nowadays, I only remember that guy. But those people, if you're doing something you've never done before, then give yourself permission to be scared. But that doesn't mean you have to give up or not try. And so I don't have that fear of, if I give my all and I go do that thing, or when I, went to Uruguay, like, if I died, like, hey man, that's his will. And they say it's way better in heaven. So, like, I'm okay with that. I get that. Well, I don't want to just live in a safety box. Like I said, no, I want to take some chances and see what's possible. Come on, man. Love it.
Right. So now let's go back to the idea of being a visionary.
Yep.
Ultimately, a visionary entrepreneur, right? Because a lot of times, as an entrepreneur, once you start the process, you lose your vision, quote unquote, because you're so consumed with the day-to-day, with managing your employees or your contracts or whatever it is. You're looking at the money. And so now you're losing your vision. You're losing the idea of your mission and your value statements. All those type of things that's very important as to why you're moving forward, which is why we went that way first, to understand when we get into this business space, we can't lose it and how important it is as our foundation. So when it comes to being a visionary entrepreneur, what does that part really mean, and how can we stay grounded as what you've been explaining this whole time?
The hard truth nobody wants to hear is you need effective executives by your side. There is no such thing. I shouldn't say that. I have never met a solopreneur ever. I have met a lot of people who claim that. Most of them are faking it until they're making it. And that's bullcrap. That deceives everybody else who's not willing to be fake. And they follow that person. They can't tell they're fake.
Right.
They got 500,000 followers. They got these beautiful websites. They got all sorts of stuff. And then they're going to these conferences where they're learning how to take a year's worth of lifestyle photos in 4 days, using clothes that aren't theirs, using backdrops and sceneries that aren't, because they're on a cruise ship, and using fake money. in the process. I'm not kidding. That happens.
Wow.
And so, no, there's that side of it. And when it comes to like the actual vision and diving into it again, that
Mm-hmm.
those executives, right? So people who are willing to be buyers. Oh, sorry, the other side of the solopreneurs, they've actually stepped on everybody they've worked with, and they don't want to give
Mm-hmm.
credit to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
No, entrepreneurship takes teamwork. And if your vision is clear enough, right? If you start to get clarity around that vision, then you start to develop what's called a culture, right? You got values, just like Hot Topic has a culture. Right? I don't fit in there, man. I get nervous every time I go into that store. That's not my store.
Right.
But
Right.
there's other stores I go in. I feel the culture of that
Mm-hmm.
store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disney has a great culture. Nobody cares about the next Disney movie that's not a Disney fan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The product or service does not matter to the
Mm-hmm.
consumer. And so if you create that vision and you create that culture, you end up attracting great leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you attract that, now you've got something that you can market and build on.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do it without a full team. And so foundation for me, the very base of the foundation is what you said. It is vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's what allowed Elon Musk to sell 180,000 cars from stage that wouldn't exist for 2 to 3 years. Maurice, let's go to a dealership right now, and let's see if I'm going to sell you a car. I'm going to say, Maurice, you might get this car in 2 to 3 years. If you give me $1,000 right now,
Right.
We'll get you something.
Right.
No, that's criminal. I'd call the cops.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But the man had an ultra clear vision. It didn't matter what Wall Street said.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter what everybody said. Nope, nobody's cracked this code in 50 years.
Right.
It's not happening. He crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
Had vision.
Yep. And I'm gonna use another analogy. For those of you who look at basketball, there was a gentleman. His name was LeVar Ball.
The Ball family. Here we go.
But here's what you're saying about vision, right? He created his own brand and everything before his sons even hit the NBA. He was doing interviews and everything else and stating that his boys were going to take over the NBA. Well, they didn't quite necessarily make it because of it seemed like external situations and not always taking in consideration injuries and things like that. Like there's some other, factors into that. But he put it out there.
Yep.
Had his own sneaker.
Can I interrupt on that one?
Sure, go ahead.
I got some harsh thoughts on that one. And I'm a huge fan of LeBron James, as you can see here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the law of manifestation, the law of attraction are two of the most powerful and therefore most dangerous principles there are.
Mm-hmm.
Knock, and it shall be open.
Mm-hmm.
Ask, and ye shall receive. Right? It is 100% promised to us that if we do that, we will receive. But if we put our own will, our own desires above that of God's desires, if we say, I want to control this, I want full powers to manifest everything in my life, there is another entity that will give you everything that you want.
You're right on that.
And what will happen is you will start with a massive amount of freedom, and it will be like a funnel. And you will go and go and go, and it will feel so wonderful until the day where you're Johnny Manziel and you're number one draft. And I just saw Johnny.
Yeah.
And Fox News again. He's on his comeback now.
Right.
And again, I hope my brother Johnny Manziel, and I hope the Ball family learns from this experience, because I don't think the fall has been fun for either one of them.
Oh no, not at all.
But Johnny still has not learned his lesson, in my opinion. He got on stage on Fox News, and he says he learned his lesson. He says that the day he was drafted was the most out of body, out of sync moment of his life, where he felt he wasn't himself.
Right.
That's a really important, humble story, so to speak. But why is he doing that? Because the speaker circuit brings paychecks.
Right.
Why do I say he's doing that? Because what's his career right now? A sports betting analyst. Come on, man. You're still in the gambling world, and you're going to preach to me about change of heart. No, you're trying to get your endorsements and trying to get your name back out there. You're utilizing these virtues, and you're still not looking at your vice.
Right.
You're still not looking at what's holding you hostage.
Right.
So if I could plead to everybody out there to pay attention to, are you using the law of manifestation and law of attraction to do good, to truly do good and help others? Or are you doing it for the sake of selfish motive and gain,
Mm-hmm.
you will win faster with selfish motive and gain, for sure. There's a force that wants you to win that way.
Right. Right.
But Job did not have a guaranteed outcome.
Right.
He had
Yeah.
all the external accolades taken away from him to the point where friends and family said, man, you really screwed this up, didn't you?
Mm.
He did not screw that up.
Mm-hmm.
But the external was not what was driving him. It was the
Right.
internal aspect. And there's great peace. There's true happiness, which brings good laughter, right? It's a different type of success and celebration, but it's one that's enduring.
And I saw one interview with Johnny, and he talked about his circle, who he was surrounded by, and just his work ethic and things like that. Like, he was not serious about his craft, and sometimes we take our gift for granted, say, hey, you know what, I could drink all night the night before and perform the next day, but understanding like, hey, just because I'm performing very well, I can't maintain that. I can't sustain that. I only could do that for a little while until, especially when I start getting with the big boys, right? Now it's starting to catch up to me, so in our business, we're looking at, hey, companies with 10 employees, okay, we can rock with them. We can, and now we're going to 100 employees, 1,000 employees. Now we want to get into S&P 500. Like, we can't, because as you stated, our culture, the people that's surrounding us, those executives that are not doing the right thing, we can't maintain that. And now we're going to fail.
And the beautiful thing is, we don't have to be part of that 96% cohort that fails within 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have to be part of the 4% who are surviving. Mm-hmm. I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs. I know it sounds like I'm like, oh my gosh, don't do this. No. I'm saying do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Learn from the mistakes of all these individuals. Learn who has the types of formulas and frameworks that honor your true virtues and values, and stick close to them. Mm-hmm. Right. And when I find people like that, I'm like, okay, I've got to pay attention to what Peter Drucker says. Okay, I've got to pay attention to what Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income says, and Jake Larson of Video Power Marketing. I mean, I got to figure out who aligns with the type of lifestyle that I want to have. Mm-hmm. And I got to be humble enough to keep learning from those types of individuals, not just anybody who's successful, the people who align with my values and virtues.
Wow. Jackson, we can go on forever, bro. Like, but I mean, so here's the thing. I'm gonna ask you one last question, because we're talking about this being a visionary, but we've touched a whole lot of different topics, y'all. I just hope y'all have been listening, because there's a lot of information that was in between the lines. We touched a whole lot of different things, so hopefully that y'all were able to catch some of that. And if you weren't able to, Jackson, please let them know where they can contact you so they can understand maybe what we were referring to.
Absolutely. You can reach out to me on come be my friend on Facebook. Number one, like, I'd be happy to be your friend. And two, visionproslive.com. We got a button in the top right corner of visionproslive.com that says be our guest. Listen, if your vision is to be the best stay-at-home dad ever, I love that. Mm-hmm. My international politics teacher said, Jackson, if you want to educate a nation, if you want to change a nation, educate a mom. And that hit hard. I was raised by my mom and 5 older sisters, man. They were all amazing moms at that time.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I can see that. So it's you don't have to be Elon Musk to come on the Vision Pros live show, right? Everybody can come on and share. If you're helping people, if you're doing good, if you're serving others, and come and share that vision. And Elon, you're still welcome to come on too, man.
Nice. So Jackson, I thank you very much. Of course, that information will be in our show notes today. So, but Jackson, before I let you go, I gotta ask you my question, my would you rather question, right? And I wonder how deep we're going to answer this question, right?
You know me well already, Maurice.
So would you rather choose 3 doors or a fork in the road?
I've been down too many forks in the roads. Got to do the 3 doors this time, man. Get out of my comfort zone.
And so it's just that simple. Just another option.
I've never had 3-door options, man. Okay. Like, I gotta try new things. Get out of my comfort zone.
So, but you said that you've been down a lot of fork in the roads, right? So in the past, was there a formula for that, or is just like, hey, I can't lose. I'm gonna lose either way, or I'm gonna win either way. It doesn't matter.
100%. So this man Jeffrey R. Holland, talks about the fork in the road. And we can look it up. It's a LDS General Conference. And he says, sometimes God allows us to go down the wrong road for a little while. He will always help us realize that we can redirect, but he's given us our agency. And he said, well, so why does he do that? Why does he have us do that? And he said, one of the powerful options of being able to go down the wrong road for a little bit is that you then get absolute certainty that the other road is the one that you're supposed to be on. And so I faced that in my mission once where we're trying to get people to church. It was raining and nobody goes out in your yard when it rains. And I'm at this literal fork in the road. And I'm trying to think. I've got 2 families that I gotta go get. We've got like 3 minutes before the bus leaves, and I'm distraught. I'm like, which one do I go for? Right. So I start walking to my left. I finally just made my choice and knew that God was not going to just hit me with that. I start walking 20 yards, and bam, it hit me like a train. It's like turn around and go the other way. And so we turned around and went the other way, and we get 25, 50 yards down the road, and here comes that family walking towards us, in the rain. And so we give them our umbrellas and we go off and we go find somebody else. Well, we get back to the bus knowing that I didn't get to see the other family. Well, they were already in the bus. They were already there. And so everything was taken care of and mapped out. And so that's, while it's kind of a silly thing for some people to think about, like I've had so many experiences in life that validate that was no accident, because it's happened again and again and again and again and again. And that's what happens when you have the faith, the belief, the action in your beliefs, rather. Just take action, simple actions in your belief, and watch him do his work.
Yeah. A lot of us sometimes, because of everything that's going on, we lose it. We lose touch with it. We get we lose our focus. It's the and don't want to go all the way down this road, but but I'm gonna use this analogy. It's the whole boat in the water analogy. So I'm gonna leave it like that. For those of you who knows, please put in the comments what I'm referring to. Where a gentleman jumps out the boat, he's focused. Once he starts losing focus, he's starting to sink. So I want y'all to think about that, because we lose that over a period of time. So how do you get back to that original space of being focused, understand what your destiny really is? But I thank you, Jackson, man. Like, this has been a really, really great show, bro. I appreciate it.
You facilitated it, Maurice. I appreciate being here.
Thank you, man. So, of course, y'all, thank you very much for listening to That Will Never Work podcast, and I will talk to y'all a little later.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?